Hello, and welcome to another episode of Letters from Camp. Today, we are joined by Assistant Program Director Rachel Schraivogel. Rachel, how are you today?
Good. How are you?
Fantastic. So, we like to always start by kind of getting people's camp story. So, maybe you could tell us a little bit about when you first came to camp, what areas you worked in. Did you attend any other camps as a kid or anything like that?
Yeah, so I actually didn't start working at Camp Winoxet until I was senior staff, 19
Mhm.
years old. I started working the year of freshman, after my freshman year of college. And the reason why I started working there is I had some friends from my high school that already worked there that were like, oh, you should come and work with us. My family was very deeply involved in Scouts, so it's not something that would have scared me away or actually kind of made me want to apply there more. So I started out, it was the first year we reopened Split Rock. I started as the handicraft director there. And then the following year, I moved to the handicraft director at Winoxet. And I kept bouncing around a lot. I moved then to, I believe, going to dining services director. Took a gap year. I had graduated. I was trying to get jobs in Ohio over the summer. Came back, was co-director. And then Split Rock camp director. Then I came into my current role now, which is assistant program director. So yeah, I've just been all over the place.
Yeah, certainly a wide variety of areas, but that probably helps, working in the program office, you kind of understand how everything
Definitely.
works. Did you attend any camps when you were younger?
Yeah, so I attended Camp Middlesex, the 4-H camp in, I believe, Ashby, Massachusetts. And the reason I actually never pursued working there is the year that I would have been their equivalent of a CIT. I was kind of asked by my parents to get a job that makes money instead of having them spend more money, which does make sense. But then after taking that time, it just didn't appeal to me anymore to go back. None of my friends did the CITs, but then didn't go back as staff. So I didn't really have a reason to go back once I
Hmm.
could have been paid.
Yeah, well, I mean, that tends to be the trend. We lose really good staff members when they need to either make money or get an internship or go off to the real world.
Yeah.
uh, unless you get to be an educator like us, then you get your summers. Um, so, being in the program office for a little while, what has kind of changed, since you started at camp over the years? And are there any programs, you'd like to see added in the future?
Yeah, so I would say that more things have changed than haven't. I would say the one thing that is consistent is just that atmosphere of the staff. Everything that we train them to do has stayed consistent over the years. The methods that we use to train them might have changed a little bit, but we still have that same values, the Winoxet 10 commandments that have been around for a while. But like even physically, the whole camp has changed since I came. The boathouse that we now have, which is a phenomenal resource, is there. The sports field, which was kind of pretty barren. I don't even know if there was really much of anything when I first started. Now has a volleyball court, basketball courts, gaga ball. I think 2 gaga balls right now, tetherball. Like physically, there's just been a lot of changes. Cabins torn down and rebuilt, and then program wide, our merit badge, as you probably know, our merit badge roster is kind of like a rotating door. Of we always try and have new merit badges every year, and then just take away some that we feel may not be working or we can't do to the capacity that we would like to do as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Is there any kind of things you have a vision for in the future, like that you'd love to see added that we don't do yet?
Yeah, I feel like a few years ago, we really started looking at that STEM component of the Nature Den. And so that's something that we have been kind of trialing different methods for a couple of years. I know we had the Nova Award at one point, the Supernova Award. And then this year we tried having 2 area directors, one do STEM, one do nature. And so just continuing to build that program into something that really works and flourishes, and everyone that either attends there as a camper to earn merit badges or open program or works there as staff can really feel confident and good about.
Yeah, that's great. Certainly, STEM is a rising tide. Either jump on or get left behind. Um, so, as someone who works in the office, what are some behind the scene things that take place that maybe the average camper or even scoutmaster probably doesn't realize or think about that happens?
Um, I would say, I think Scoutmasters realize this, but campers, junior staff members probably don't realize this as much. Of like, camp has an email address, and we get so many emails every single day, and someone has to be the one to answer all of those emails. And so that can take, depending on the day, that can take a couple hours of your days to successfully answer all of those. As well as any paperwork. Like if you walk into our boathouse, we have probably, I would say, at least 20, maybe 30 different pieces of literature, whether it's how you earn an award or a map of camp, and not only just making sure those are accurate each week as maybe schedules change, but at the beginning of the year, making sure that they're updated for the current year and what we're doing.
Yeah, that I think, former camp director Matt Ford, that was his biggest pet peeve, was getting an email about like swimming merit badge in February, and I think it might be a part of the reason he stopped being a camp director.
Yeah, maybe. Definitely one of my least favorite parts, but someone has to answer the email. So
yeah. So for those who don't know, you live in Ohio, and you what level of education do you teach?
So I am teaching high school right now. I'm an intervention specialist, and I support freshman English classes.
Oh, great. So what keeps you coming back to New Hampshire, even from Ohio, every summer?
I think New England, it's just always going to be home to me. It's where I grew up. The summer that I started working here was the same summer that the year previous my parents had sold their house. So it's just my way to still have a home in New England. And I think I just still keep coming back. At this point, I could just, take a vacation in New England all summer. But I think it's the staff that work here. We're a summer camp. We don't pay the most amazing, right, for either us or our staff. So you're there because you want to be there. And so it has just built such a community of really hard workers that care about their job, which in the real world, whether you're in a part-time job or a full-time job, you just don't see that same atmosphere. So it's just really rejuvenating to come every summer and work with individuals that care.
And also a quick geography lesson. I learned today that Ohio is in Eastern Standard Time.
Yes, I don't know if this was you or Andy Collins, but every year for interviews, for the longest time, I would always pick the earliest interview slot just to get it done with. And I get a text and be like, that's like 6 a.m. or something in your time zone. I'm like, no, it's not. We're in the same time zone.
Yeah, so. Apparently Eastern Standard Time goes way further west than I thought.
Yes.
But all right, let's move into our lightning round, which we ask all of our guests. So first, what is your favorite camp song?
I would say my favorite camp song is, I can't even remember like the name of it right now, and I'm not gonna sing it, but like I have a little house like this. I don't know. I've always liked the rhythm of it, so I guess that's it.
All right. How about your favorite camp skit?
I would say I have really over the years had an appreciation of the ending of the campfire where things start to wind down, and Nick O'Connell has done a great job with doing little either stories or poems at the end. I remember the first year he did a short story poem, and I was just in awe that I don't have a great memory, that he just blew it away every week and was able to do it from memory, even from staff week he had it memorized. So it's always something cool to see.
Great. How about your favorite camp meal?
My favorite camp what?
Meal.
Oh, so this one's a little interesting, I would say, because I eat the vegetarian option every single meal. So I've never actually eaten like a full regular camp meal. That being said, this is going to sound really weird. I love cold cut days because I like just a piece of bread with lettuce, tomatoes, and mayonnaise on it. And I know that sounds so weird and so unfulfilling, but for some reason, I love it.
All right. Hey, that's to each their own.
Maybe that says something about the vegetarian options that are offered. No, we have great options. We do.
If anyone from Cafe Services is listening, just throwing that out there.
No, they're great. Yeah.
How about your favorite place in camp?
I would say my favorite place in camp is actually in the middle of the lake. I love whether I'm actively swimming the mile swim, which I love to do each week, driving a motorboat, in a kayak. I love just sitting there. You can see Sagey Island. You can look up, the view from the mountain is the best in camp. or you can look back and see people on the waterfront climbing the iceberg, doing a merit badge, things like that. It's so peaceful.
That's a great answer. I like that. Um, and when you first started at camp, maybe I know you were senior staff, but was there anyone you maybe looked up to as a role model?
Yeah, so this is, as you said, obviously maybe going to look a little bit different since I was 19. So all the area directors were really just within a few years of me, even if they were a little bit older. But I would say someone that I really admired, and I still admire to this day, is Matt Thaler. It was his first year as camp nurse, but he just had such knowledge of everything camp. Like, you would ask him to do something and he'd jump in and he would do it, and he had the knowledge to it, and he could honestly probably run camp. And even now, him and his wife Nora, and they'll use their days off of work to come and still help at camp, and they just have both great hearts. So
That's a good answer, and they're definitely on the short list for guests that we're gonna have on here. So that's a really good answer. Any other kind of final thoughts on camp? Anything you want to mention? Anything like that?
I would just encourage that, I guess, if you're watching this and you haven't come to visit camp in a while, to come back to visit. Even if you may only know one person there, you're always going to be welcomed. It's always your home, and we'd love to see you back, even if I don't personally know you. So
that's great, and that's a good lead in, because we are planning about 4 different 100th anniversary events, and so that's going to be a great opportunity for people to come back and kind of be at camp and celebrate 100 years of Winoxet, which is kind of amazing. So, all right, well, thank you very much, Rachel, for your time, and I didn't have to adjust my watch, which was good. So, but thank you so much for joining us.
Okay, and thanks for having me. Have a good rest of your day.
You too.